Thanks, Sean. Hi, Dave. Dave, how would you describe Dmitry Kulikov's skill set and how he'll fit into your lineup?
Well, he gives us depth at defense. He's a veteran defenseman. He's played a lot of games. Played kind of a real shutdown penalty kill role that I think will help our group. We've got to get him here, get him up and going before we figure out where exactly he fits in. But we'll see. We'll see when he gets here. But I like that he's a good veteran. You talk to people about him. He's a real good pro. Does whatever it takes to help a team win, and so I think he'll be a benefit to our lineup.
Nugent Hopkins wasn't on the ice today. Any update or still optimism?
He skated before the group today, so he was on the ice with that, and we'll see where. I'll get an update later today on where he's at, whether he joins the group tomorrow or not.
Terry Jones, Post Media.
Today or yesterday, you were in a situation where your team didn't practice, they didn't play, it was a complete day off. There are some people that think that should be the case for every team on deadline day. What are your thoughts on that?
You know what, Terry? It depends on your schedule and what you need. There's teams playing on that day or whatever, but it does make it cleaner. But the thing that makes it cleaner a little bit is it's much harder when your team is selling. When you're a seller, then it becomes a hard day around. When you know that really nobody's going out and it's not a fire sale, then the mood's not so bad. So it just worked out that we needed the 2 days off. We kept people away yesterday, and we came back. We were in pretty good spirits of practice today. So between the couple of days of rest from the travel and getting past the trade deadline, hopefully everybody's geared up for the final stretch run here.
And that's what the trade deadline does. It announces that it's the beginning of the home stretch.
Yeah.
And it also is a time to basically say, okay, this is our team. What do you think of your team as you hit the stretch?
I like our team. Our goal at the start of the year was continue and improve all the way through and keep building our game. And that's a discussion we had as a group today, that this is our team going forward. We've got to continue to build. There's some things that I think we have to improve, to secure a playoff spot. And then if you get a chance to play in the playoffs, you get in there and your game's in order. So we talked about that as a group today. We got 14 games left in the regular season. We got to use all 14 of them to make sure we're improving our game. If we earn a playoff spot, then hopefully our team's ready to go. But for the most part, I like the way our guys have really pushed to try to improve, pushed to try to become a better team. And we've done that to this point. Now we got to continue it.
Daniel Nugent-Bowman, The Athletic.
Hi, Dave. I'm just wondering, you said that the trade deadline's usually, you feel like it's typically harder on sellers. So that wasn't where you guys were. But still, do you think there's kind of a sense of calm that it's past now and that this is your group and you can kind of focus on going forward here?
I don't think that there was very little anxiety around the deadline with our group at all. So it's I think there's a sense of, okay, this is our team. Everybody's wondering if there's anything going to happen, but we've got some unrestricted free agents. It was never a case where we're going to move any of those guys. It's so it wasn't exactly that there was anxiety around our group, but it's just you get by it, and now this is our team. You move forward.
And how, you mentioned how tough the, Saturday was, and everyone could see that, and gave the guys 2 days off. How do you feel like they've responded in practice today and ratcheting up toward the end of the week?
Guys were in good spirits today. We had a hard practice today, and guys embraced it, and we're in good spirits, so that's a good sign.
Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Hi, Dave. A couple of things.
Yeah.
The fact that Kulikov played in Winnipeg last year, did that give you a little bit of look at what Kulikov could be, because he played a number of games against your team?
Yeah, a little bit, but I looked at more of what he was doing this year, and he was a solid player for New Jersey. Really played in some key shutdown situations. So we think he just gives us extra depth there, and I think he's a good pro, and you can never have enough defensemen.
Now, the general manager, trade deadline is his day. It's not for the coach. I guess the coach sits back and says, okay, you tell me who we're getting. Would you ever like to be in the situation where you are a general manager, not a coach, and like all fantasy hockey,
Yeah,
people
everybody's
going on to, why can't we get that guy? Why can't we get that?
Yeah.
So just tell me from your perspective what the day is like compared to the coach or the general manager.
The general manager, they've done so much work. The general manager and staff has done so much work that leads up to it. They have an idea where we want to go. Ken and I talk all the time about our lineup and where we are, and it's been a different year for him this year too. He's been around our group a lot more than normal. So I think he has a good read on our group, and there's things that happen during that trade deadline day that just because there's a clock on it doesn't mean that you have to overhaul your team. So there's some things that we really like about our team, and Ken and his staff did the due diligence. This is what we have. Now we got to move forward.
Thank you.
Terry Jones, Post Media.
Do you have any deadline day anecdotes from when you were a player? And
No, I was never traded on a deadline. The one time, it's funny because I got Mike Smith here, but I was coaching in Dallas, and we were on the road on the deadline day, and we made a trade. We traded Mike Smith and Halpern and Jussi Jokinen for Brad Richards. And all our management staff was back in Dallas. We were on the road, so I had to be the guy to tell them all. That's about the most of the trade deadline I've got out of it. But it's easier for the manager to tell the players that they're traded than the coach.
thank you.
Jim Matheson.
Dave, do you have enough offense on your team? You didn't get another forward at the trading deadline because Ken just didn't have enough money. Do you have enough offense when you get past McDavid and Draisaitl?
I didn't look today, but we've been pretty steady in the top 6 or 7 of the league in offense all year. So hopefully that doesn't change. We've managed to. Obviously you get McDavid and Draisaitl, but then our defense has really contributed. There are some areas that we think we got to get more contributions through our lineup, through some harder goals, but hopefully those will come.
And in terms of the center position when Nugent Hopkins doesn't play, is it just, and if Leon happens to play with Connor, is it just center by committee? Because you don't really have, once you get past Leon, you have a bunch of guys, for lack of a better word, are role playing centers, not offensive centers. At least that's not their resume in the NHL.
Yeah, we've got 2 top offensive centers that anybody would love to have if you play them apart. Now we played them together sometimes. Nuge has played enough center there, so the offensive part of it is we're comfortable with, but you got to have good role players. Like JJ has played very well for us here lately. Big, strong guy in the middle. Haas is a really smart player. I think he'd like to see more production out of himself or find ways to get more of an offensive part to his game. But we feel comfortable with it. We have a number of options. Shore has played a lot of center in the NHL, so we have a number of options, but we have a pretty good 1-2 if we want to put them in that position.
Thank you.